So now you can probably guess what's next. I'm going to go in and start isolating all of the elements in the athlete. I'm going to completely deconstruct him, just like I did the shoe. I'm going to go in and I'm going to separate the shirt from the skin, from the shorts, from the tights, from the shoes. Everything needs to get broken apart so we can manipulate everything individually. I'm going to start with the shirt. Now, using 2-pass again, remember I'm clipping in a way that I'm not repeating any of the edges. I've already done the silo path, so I can just clip outside that. And when I'm doing the internal shapes, I'm going to be a little bit more careful about being pretty close to the line. Now let's move on to the arms. Now remember, I've already clipped where the shirt meets the arm edge, so I'm not going to repeat that. I'm just going to go around it. And I've already clipped this area where the arms meet the background with the silo. So the only new edge is where they meet the shorts. All right, arms are done. Does that make sense? It can initially be a little bit hard to see, but the arms equal, if we're talking about masks, or in this case, selections, which I'm going to create, arms equal selection from the arms minus the selection of the shirt. This is all going to be a lot more clear later, but hopefully you can see how I make the masks from all these different parts. Very similar to the shoe, but this is a more complex image with more complex shapes, but through this process of never repeating an edge and reducing, subtracting paths that you've already made from ones that you make later, you'll be able to set up all of your masks exactly. Let's move on to the shorts. Now the tights. Now, because I know this is part of the color change we need to make, the tights panels. Now, real quickly, I'm going to do the front shoe. So you'll see what I just did there. I'm clipping out the return of the shoe because I know his ankle is going to go in there. And once again, as I get further along with the clipping and further along through all the shapes, the less clipping I have to do because one shape basically subtracts from another. And I don't want to repeat any edges, so therefore I'm able to do fewer edges because later I'm going to do calculations with subtracting from the selections and the masks in order to create a whole library of shapes all layered up so that there's no repeated edges and there are no edge errors. and one more for the back shoe. I can turn the opacity down just a little bit to get a better look at where the ankle meets the shoe. That's excellent. We've got everything clipped out here that we need to move forward. We may need to clip out more stuff, but this is an excellent library of shapes. And you'll see this continual return to the system. The same one that we use on a shoe is the same one that we use on an athlete. It's the same one we use on a car. Is the same one we use on a landscape in a lot of situations. So hopefully this is starting to make more sense how this system applies to pretty much everything you encounter if you need to do a full commercial retouch on it. Next, we're going to move forward into building up our file structure, putting pixels at the bottom of every layer, and moving forward with our cleanup, shaping, and beauty work.